Next lesson, here we go, guys. This is 7.3b, product to a power. And I actually kind of introduced this in the last lesson a little bit, so it may seem familiar. All right. Our objective is to raise a product to a power. But first, we got to recall how exponents work. Remember, 7 squared means I have two sevens, 7 times 7. Not doubled, not 7 plus 7, not 7 times 2, 7 times 7. Even with a negative exponent, x to the negative 5, negative fifth. Yeah, that's it. We have to then do the reciprocal, 1 over x to the positive fifth. And that would just be 1 over x times x times x times x times x, just to expand it out if I wanted to. That's how exponents work. Don't forget. Product to a power works like this. All right, so a product to a power looks like I have a product, AB, and then that is raised to a product. I'm sorry, a power of n. All right, so A times B time to the nth power. And what I can do is I can kind of expand that out. That means I have AB times AB, right? Because that's what it means. Oh, shoot, this should not be n. This should be a 2. Mr. Stanwood, you done messed up. This should be a 2. There we go. That makes better sense. AB squared. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so that means now I have AB times AB. All right, and now what I can do, I can rearrange to get my like bases the same near each other. I can put those A's together, get A times A, and the B's together, get B times B, because I'm allowed to move around when I multiply. And now what I can do is A times A, that's the same thing as just A squared. B times B is just B squared. So what will be true, using my fun marker, AB squared is going to be the same thing as just A squared, B squared. All right. As I mentioned in actually previously, this 2 kind of gets distributed to everything in there. It gets distributed to both bases. Okay. Here it is. Everything in the parentheses, very fancy word, gets the exponent. It's like I said, it's kind of like you're distributing the exponent to only the other exponents. If a base already has an exponent on it, you then multiply it with the new exponent. Otherwise, it just gets that exponent. Okay, so AB to the n is equal to ANBN. AB to the n is equal to A to the NB to the n. I'm almost done with all these little fast moving rhyme paste things. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's look at this example. Crazy, I know, I just jumped right into it. I have x squared y cubed. All of that is to the 4th power times, because there's nothing here, x squared y to the 4th to the negative 4th power. Wow, crazy. It's okay. All I do with this 4 outside is I have to make sure it goes to these exponents. Negative 4, same thing. All right. So when I do that, I get x to the 8th, y to the 12th, x to the negative 8th, y to the negative 16th. And now what I want to do is now I have to continue simplifying it. Okay. You have to make sure, if you recall, there's no negative exponents. There's no repeated bases. There's no powers to powers. That's what I kind of took care of first. I took care of the product to the power. But look, I have the same base, x to the 8th, x to the negative 8th. All right. I can rearrange them and put them next to each other if it's helpful. And if they're next to each other, I'm multiplying. What do I do with exponents when I multiply? We add them. Oh, look, 8 plus negative 8, they cancel out. That gives me x to the 0, which is just 1. So that just goes away. My x's actually cancel each other out in this case. All right. Now the same thing with my y's. Let's take a look at my y's. I have y to the 12th, y to the 16th. What happens when I multiply them together? What do I do to my exponents? Still add. So when I add them, I get y to the negative 4th. Are we done? No. I have a negative exponent here. I have to do the reciprocal. Since it's y to the negative 4th, I'm going to have to make it 1 over y to the 4th. And that is my solution to all of that. Not my solution, my simplified form, I should say. Crazy. It keeps going. All right. Last problem. Find the area. Find the area. How do you find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. Even if it's funky, a squared, b to the 4th, a to the 4th, b, what's that called? Cubed, threed. What is the area? Hope you came up with a to the 6th, b to the 7th, because we just add our exponents together. That is it when I multiply like bases. And that's the lesson. You're going to do the 7.3b practice and your 7.3b mastery check.